Karen, hi, how are you? Welcome to my podcast or blogcast. I'm so happy to have you here.
Oh, so good to be with you, Cheryl. Looking
Uh,
forward to our talk.
yes, so I want to introduce you to the listeners, and I want to just tell them a little bit about you. So,
Sounds
Karen Copperthwaite, also known as Souly Sister, is an intuitive, heart healing, soul nurturing medium and life coach. She facilitates vibrational energy shifts and is a messenger for the angels and spirit. Through intuitive life coaching and energetic healing, Karen is a teacher and a guide who is here to inspire and provide a soulful toolbox that individuals can use to move forward, strong and confident in all areas of their lives. Karen's compassionate heart and intuitive gifts make for a powerful combination. She has a unique ability to gracefully receive the information given to her by spirit, the angels, and deceased loved ones to share with those who seek to understand themselves, their challenges, and bring clarity, hope, and action for their journey. She works in the company of spirit and the angels who have guided her with this message. We are meant to heal one another. That is why we came here together.
Hmm.
I love working with you so much.
Oh,
Let me go back and kind of tell how we got connected.
okay.
I have Karen deals with angels, and I have always loved angels. Don't
Yeah.
know what, just always loved them, felt connected to them. And you were doing a what was it called? The Sunday.
Yeah. Renew Your Spirit Sundays.
And I wanted to work with a practitioner, and there was two people that I had on my mind. Immediately, I was drawn to your description, and then
Mhm.
there was one other person. And a mutual friend of ours, I said, "Hey, do you know either of these practitioners?" And she was like, "Oh my gosh, you have to totally go to Karen." So I was so excited when we first met, which I think we
Yeah.
thought was in 2012 or 20,
Yes.
2012.
2012 or 13, somewhere right there.
Yeah. So I had no idea what to expect. I never had anybody do any type of energy work on me other than like a little bit of Reiki.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't know what to expect. I had no expectations whatsoever. And when we got in there, I mean, first of all, head to body chills. I connected with your soul immediately. I just connected with your spirit.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if you remember what happened. You probably didn't because you see so many clients. But my grandmother came through, and I wasn't even expecting
Oh,
zero. My
yeah.
grandmother came through. Um, so it was just a spectacular way to start
Mm.
our work together. And Karen, we and I have also been colleagues and coaches and business partners. We've done workshops
Yeah.
and retreats, and we travel together. We try to go away a couple times a year with two other fellow coaches. So hi, Karen.
I
I
was gonna
don't have.
say, it's been a magnificent 12 years since that first encounter.
Yes, it has. And
Yeah.
even though we don't see each other all the time, we stay connected. We have
Mhm.
our little group that we do, and I love spending time with you.
Oh,
So
thank you.
where should we get started today talking about angels? Um,
Yeah.
what do you got to say to us for us? For those people that maybe are just learning a little bit about it, or you want to dip their toe in it, that might be
Yeah.
skeptical. Do you have any
Yeah. Well, it's
thoughts?
interesting, I have a religion in my background that, I grew up in, and there were always angels as far as talked about, but not really delved into. And so when I started, kind of opening up spiritually and going on a spiritual journey, for some reason, the angels are what really showed up in my path. And how that began was um, I was taking different classes, spiritual kind of classes, and somebody was teaching a class called Healing with the Energy of the Angels. And it intrigued me, read the little description and thought, huh, that sounds neat. And I could fit it into my schedule. And so when I went, it is a form of energy work that I was learning. And it was healing with the energy of the angels. And it just so happened that the connection I felt that day was quite overwhelming. I told this story probably to you before, but when you learn the energy modality, you learn how to do it in the morning, and then you practice on your fellow learners in the afternoon. And so when I was working with my partner to start to practice the energy work that we were learning, I laid my hands on the top of her head and felt this overwhelming sense of presence. I didn't really know that's what was happening at the time. I felt it as pouring sweat. Super hot and uncomfortable. I mean, I'm not kidding when I tell you I was dripping. That literally the sweat dripped off the end of my nose and I was right above the person's head and I was praying, please don't let it hit her. But that was like a unbeknownst to me at the time, a sign that I was feeling some kind of connection. And that's really what kind of led me on a path to discovering more and more about the angels and communicating with them. And so the angels are really messengers of God. And what I've learned is they are the closest realm of heaven to earth. And so their assignment is to work with human beings. And so, how wonderful. They want to be in our lives. And so, it's something as simple as calling them in with help, can be something as simple as that, or something more elaborate like a prayer, sitting in meditation or just praying to the angels to have some guidance, some support, some clarity around something that you're going through in your life. They don't care how we invite them in, they just want to be invited. And so that's really one of the biggest messages that they tell me to tell every single person every single time I work with a client is call upon the angels. They will be with you in a moment's notice. Doesn't matter how you do it, just call them in. And so that's the biggest message I've received from them and that I'm called to give clients when I work with them.
When I first started working with you, I was new and I really didn't know what to expect. And I learned that the way I knew that I was connecting with the angels
Yeah.
was I would have full body, like just chills up, just energy. It just felt like energy was moving
Yeah.
through my body. And I
Mhm.
questioned it at first. I was like, is I think it's when, and no, it's not. I think I know. So that's what it feels like for me. And is that what it feels like for a lot of people? That full body chill,
Um,
or even in different
yeah.
areas, because it's Reiki, considered Reiki too, right? Where
Reiki
you're
is a
kind of
form of
going
energy work.
over and lightly touching, and it was just the
Yeah.
energy that is flowing through my body is incredible. Is that what a lot of people feel?
I think, yes, there are sensations in the body because really you're working with an energy, a presence. So you might feel tingling, you might feel chills, you might feel warmth. When people are working, when I'm doing integrated energy therapy, which is that kind of angel energy work that I do, some people feel like they're floating. Some people feel nothing at all, and it's all perfect. It's just the way our bodies kind of adjust to the energy presence that we're feeling.
So you were saying that you can call in the angels. Now, how do the angels work also? Maybe I'm combining two things, but when like the guides that have gone before us, like our
Yeah.
parents, or those are different than angels.
Yeah, some people refer to those who have crossed over that are loved ones as their angels, and there's nothing wrong with that. But really, angels have never been in human form. And so when I refer to loved ones that have crossed over that seem to be guiding and supporting us and helping us, those I refer to as your guides. And so there's a subtle difference. Again, I don't think it's something that has to be, um, said that somebody's wrong if they refer to a loved one as their angel. I don't think that's wrong. It does feel like we have that support from the other side. But when I'm teaching about angels, I always refer to them as, the angels are those that are uh, not ever have been in human form. I think there's maybe one exception to that, but that's from the Bible and biblical times, so not any recent recent times. But your guides are those typically who have crossed over, who are lovingly guiding us, supporting us in our lifetime.
And
Yeah.
I also remember in that it was either in our first session or our second session, we talked about everybody has guardian angels.
Yes.
And I asked you if you knew who my guardian angel was. And
Yes.
you said, I'm not sure, sometimes they come through, sometimes they don't. And immediately you said this angel, the presence stepped into the space.
Yes.
Immediately you could tell me that my guardian name is Angel, the name of it. And
Mhm.
and then down the road, you also were able to get my son and daughter's guardian angel to come through.
Oh,
So
nice.
I love that. I love that so much. So should we talk about the experience we had together? Do you know what I'm going to say?
Yes.
With
Yes.
with our dads.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I was just thinking of that the other day, how amazing that was. And it's interesting because our dads, both of us have lost our dads now for a number of years and were hugely influential in our lives. And they've come with between the two of us together a number of times. And yes, the one in particular was a situation in which you and I both called them to come together and be with us. And that was pretty amazing. Something I have not experienced before and since. So, yes, why don't you set that up?
okay, so I'm going to set the stage. Karen and I went away for it was just a night, and we went to some cabin in the woods. I don't even remember where it was at.
Right. Somewhere in Illinois,
And
somewhere.
you invited me because Kevin couldn't go, and I
Yeah.
was happy to go. And it was a huge snowstorm had hit.
Yeah.
And so when we got there, we had this little cabin, and when we checked in, the lady, you said, "Is there anything we want to see?" And she said, "You absolutely want to see the sunset."
Yeah.
It was like, "Yeah, it's up in the meadow." And so we didn't really know what that meant, but it was deep snow, and we had to go and find this meadow. Um, and we were trudging in deep snow. Do you remember this?
Yes,
It
definitely.
took a long time to get up there. I don't even know how long. Was
It was
it?
a good hill.
It was a good hill, and once we got on that hill, it was a good meadow where we had to walk
Yes,
to.
yes.
And it was this huge, wide open meadow that had a line of trees in the back, and there was two Adirondack chairs that were just sitting in the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of it, yep.
Yeah, so we sat down, and I think you had said, "Let's call in our dads."
Yes.
And it was right before sunset, and then it happened. And what I experienced and what Karen experienced was we weren't telling each other at first, but we couldn't believe what we were seeing individually. And I
Yeah.
don't even know how we said what it was, but we mirrored what each other said. And it wasn't
Yes.
a typical sunset. It was like Ferris wheel, fireworks, blue, pink, white. I mean, the colors were spectacular. It was like
Yeah.
a Ferris wheel that was shooting out fireworks, and we both saw the same thing. And it went on. Do you remember how long it went on? It went on for like 20
Yeah.
minutes. It was
Yeah.
spectacular.
I remember sitting there saying, looking at this and kinda just being mesmerized by it, and all of a sudden saying, "Are you seeing what I'm seeing?" I'm seeing, and then I was describing it, and you're like, "I'm seeing," and then describing the same thing, and the picture, was so dynamic, it was continuously changing. So where imagine seeing, like, the Navy Pier Ferris wheel, and all the lights, blinking and going on and on and on, and then shifting and changing and moving and spiraling, and sometimes it was, like, black and white, and sometimes it was bright and, colored, and it just kept moving and changing, and it's the sunset, so you're watching as it's dropping out, down, 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 out of the sky, and it's lowering, but it's spectacular. And yes, we watched and we watched, and it didn't ever dim.
I
It
know.
didn't change.
It was so incredible. And we knew that we had received a message from both our fathers that
Yeah.
and it was incredible.
Yes, yes, it was a beautiful, beautiful, incredible sunset.
And I know that when we were in Florida one time together, you had said that our dads came together in a dream or something, right?
Oh,
Weren't they
yeah.
in a dream? Or you said that they were there. Our dads were there together.
Yes, I can't remember the specifics now, um, but I do remember having a dream where both of them appeared, and I know at some point, Cheryl, when we were doing, a session, energy work session, I believe it was, um, I was describing things about your dad because I didn't know you hardly at all at the time. Definitely didn't know your dad. I've never met him. But I remember describing different aspects of what you told me was the farm. And do you remember there being a gas station sign? Do you remember that? That's the only real strong visual piece I can remember from that time when we were talking about your dad. Um, and just how fun it is to work with those that have crossed over, and working with the angels as well. It's such joy because I always say their energy is like giddiness, and how often in our adult lives now do we get to feel giddy? And that's the energy they like to bring to sessions and to us, so that we experience joy, because that's their vibration. And so when we work with the angels, and when we're working with those that have crossed over now, we really have to heighten up our vibration. The angels are already up here. We're kind of here. We have to raise our vibration, and they have to lower theirs a little bit so that we can connect and we can communicate. And so, that's the other piece, that when we want to work with angels, we want to be prepared. We want to have kind of that clear intention of experiencing their energy, experiencing their light, and we have to open up to receive that. So it takes a little bit of real openness, real clarity in order to experience what it's like to be with them. And I think that's why energetically we get the chills, or we feel tingly, or our scalp, you often feel like your scalp is tingling. That is when we have those experiences, that it's often vibrationally we have changed, we have shifted. And so that's why we tend to experience all of those little feelings, those twinges.
I know in some of the sessions, I mean, actually, I think every session, when you talk about the angels, they want us to have fun, they want to play, and several
Yeah.
times you would be giggling, like, what
Yeah.
does this even mean?
Yeah.
And they were kind of playful and sometimes mischievous. Yeah,
Yes.
well, they love to play with us, don't they?
So true. I love that you brought up the mischievous part. I call it snarky.
I
They
did. I
like
was
to
going to say snarky, but I said mischievous.
they they like to chide us, in a humorous way about who we are as human beings, and they know us so well, each individual part of us, so they like to kinda poke fun, be playful, chide, and kid around with us, so that, we can lighten up ourselves as well, and that lightens our vibration the more we laugh. So, yeah, it's humorous, to work with them. um, it's fun. It definitely, lifts my mood, raises my vibration, to just be in their presence, and that's what it's like for all of us who, want to play with the angels, so to speak.
And one of the things I do want to mention that I learned from you as well was to with the flybys. I think you call them flybys.
Yes, yes, yes.
Angels send us message all the time, and in my prior years, I would miss them. Now I pay attention, and it's
Yeah.
those. Don't forget this. Remember that. This is somewhere where like you can't find something, and they kind of direct you to it, but you have to listen. Something you're unexpected that comes in, you're like, huh, what was that? Now it's like, oh, okay, who's giving me this message?
Yes. Yeah, I call them the fly-throughs, in that, a lot of times we get the message from the angels, from spirit even, and we miss it, and it comes through. They come through quickly. Well, they'll show up again, the same message, the same information, the same little, thought will fly through again, and we might miss it again. Maybe we hang on to it for 1 or 2 seconds and we notice it, and then it goes. And I always say my magic number is 3. So usually by the 3rd time, I finally when it flies through again, I finally hold on to it and then recognize what the message is, what the thought is I need to be thinking about. Like you said, it might be a place to go look for something that I've lost. Definitely, we will get fly-throughs,
Yeah.
and we can pay attention to them, until we don't have to get the fly-through again.
I think I keep getting the message because I'm so, hard-headed or in my head. I'm not realizing I'm getting all these messages. So
Definitely.
I try to be more present about that. So I
Yes. Well, they know who we are, so it's not like they're mad at us for missing it the first couple of times. They know.
every time that I have worked with you also, you always, always, always tell me, and actually other people I've worked with, that I
Yeah.
always have angels around me. And just the thought of having angels around me
Yeah.
is so amazing.
Yeah. They, they show up oftentimes standing behind us. That's typically how I see a lot of the angels as they come in. I was told, and there's different archangels. There's a number of them. But one that many of us may know is Archangel Michael, and he's always depicted as having a sword and a shield, like the big protector. And so one time I was, kind of going about my day, and I heard Michael say, "How come you never call on me?" Because I would call on, different angels for different things. Raphael's known for the angel as the angel of healing. So oftentimes him, we might know Archangel Gabriel being the messenger angel, something to help us when we need to communicate a message, either verbally or written. But anyway, so, I heard this, "How come you never call on me?" And I thought to myself, "Well, I never thought I needed the big guy." That's what I would think of him as. The angel that, is the protector and, when you really need protection, that's what he's there for. And he told me, and I will never forget this, and I give this message a lot so people understand, is that, he said, "No, I will come and stand behind you and wrap my big wings around you, and you can just lean back." So when you are feeling so weary, tired, just at your wits' end, so to speak, that's when you can call in Archangel Michael and just ask that, he lets you lean back and just rest, and you can rest in his wings. So, yes, I, definitely use Archangel Michael now. I call him in. He's probably weary of me calling him all the time now.
Early on, you gave me that exact message when I was in corporate America, and there
Hmm.
was a worldwide shortage of medical instruments, and that was part of my portfolio.
Oh,
And I was being beat up every single day. And basically, you were saying, Cheryl, you are taking on this energy of other people projecting on you. And you gave me that image of Archangel Michael wrapping his arms around me and supporting me and protecting me from that energy that I was taking on, when it had nothing to do with me.
yeah.
So I do remember that. I do use our Archangel Michael a lot
Yes,
for protection. Yeah. So,
absolutely.
and another one of my guys is Metatron.
Uh-huh.
You know much about Metatron?
Yeah, Metatron, is, an archangel that most people really have not heard of before. I had not prior to really working, and learning about the different angels and the different archangels. Metatron is really known for, working with children. So if a child needs some extra support, call in Metatron, and also works with people with, mental illnesses, and so he's known for that as well. So, those are 2 ways that you can utilize Metatron.
Well, I've gotten messages on and readings before where he wants to work with me. I'm like, oh Lord, now that you just said mental illness, I don't know.
Well, when mental difficulties, challenges, right? And when we're feeling weary, he's really known for that as well.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
actually going through COVID since then, I mean, I think that
Yeah.
people have had anxiety since then. So
Yes.
our little angels to help us.
Yes, absolutely.
When you are talking to somebody just in like normal conversation, do you get messages that you hear but you don't share? Or do you separate that?
So when I go about my normal day, like running errands and things like that, I kind of describe it as turning myself off because if I were to constantly remain on alert, I think I might drive myself crazy. So when I'm just doing typical everyday things like running errands and being in different places, when my kids were younger, when I was carpooling, when I was doing all those kinds of um, daily activities, I used to just really describe myself as having to turn it off, so that I could really focus on being a human being and a mother and just your typical everyday type of person. But when I working with individuals or speaking, teaching, coaching, I absolutely spend some time before I get on with somebody else, just saying, may this session be for their highest good, their highest healing. May whatever messages of compassion and whatever's important for them to know come forward. May that happen for them. So it's really, I feel, about intention setting, about what I want to uh, offer, or even in, for in the opposite way, what I want to receive as well. I want to be intentional about what I want. We talk a lot about intention setting.
Mhm.
Yeah. So every time I work with somebody, we set an intention for what they want to receive from their session. Because I think that opens us up in a different kind of energy. Especially as women, we're often the givers, and giving, it takes a different energy than receiving. Receiving is like, it's opening up your hands up and being ready to receive, and that's different. When we're getting that opportunity. So I
Yeah,
think,
that you're right. That is difficult for women to receive.
yeah, yeah, or we don't ask for what we want, because we're not used to that either. Many of us have difficulty asking for what it is we want or what it is we need. And so this is just one way of kind of shifting into that opportunity to receive. Yeah.
Is there anything that the angels want us to know as a collective right now? Is that something that you can ask for guidance right now while we're in this conversation?
Oh, um, I know that one of the biggest things they've been sharing lately is really about love, and whether or not someone knows that we're sending them that energy is not as important as us ourselves, being in that place of sending out love to someone else or even just into the world. It doesn't matter. Most of the time, people won't know that we're doing that for them, but that is very powerful. So, many times we get the opportunity to pray for someone else, send them good vibes, things like that when something's going on for them. But even more powerful, I feel, is to send that energy of love to another soul, to another human being, because uh, we don't want to taint it with any uh, thoughts that someone's suffering. Sometimes that's what happens. We hear about someone going through something, traumatic, a health need, something in their families going on, and we start to lower our vibration and say, "Oh my gosh, no, that's terrible, that's awful," which is real human feelings. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that feeling. But when we're ready to kind of take it up to the next level, I like to just beam energy of love to their souls, because we can speak soul to soul to another human being. It's, your inner being, that you have, speaking to their inner being and sending that energy of love to them. So I think that's something that we can all do. That's very
So how does
important.
that look like? Does it really look like just like thinking it in your heart, in your mind, or are you saying out loud, or are you just kind of connecting with?
Yeah. Um, for me, I like to connect soul to soul. So, especially, whenever I'm directly working with someone, before we do our work together, I like to imagine my soul speaking to their soul and opening that energy up between soul to soul. It seems that I can really kind of get to the heart of the person, really see them for who they are, not our outside exterior, but really our inner, our beautiful energy that we each hold in our hearts. So yeah, I like to do it where I'm just kind of imagining it, thinking about it in my head and imagining it soul to soul. But I don't think it matters how you do it, whether you speak it out loud or you keep it inside in your head. Either way, it works.
I love that you say that because people that aren't familiar with this, they think they're going to do it wrong, but you're saying there's really no
Um,
wrong way to do it. You're
Very
sending,
much so. No wrong way.
yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Good lesson.
Yeah.
You're a detailed gal like I am, you know.
Yes. Yes.
So there's
I mean,
no,
there's formal ways to call in the angels. Um, I've taught classes where we teach kind of a step-by-step approach, but, if your heart is telling you, uh, the way to do it, then that's the way to do it.
mhm,
Yeah.
I love that.
Mhm.
Is there any specific things you want us to know about working with you, with the angels? Tell us more about that because you
Yeah.
are amazing practitioner that I got to get on your book soon.
Oh, thank you so much. Um Most of the time when someone wants to set up an appointment with me, we're going to do an angel reading, and that relates to wanting to find out more information. Maybe something going on in your life. You'd like more clarity around. You'd like some answers to something going on in a family situation, or what your health or your any parts of your life. And so we begin by, setting that intention for what you want to receive, like we just talked about. And then I use cards as a way to help structure and format the information that comes in through the angels. So using cards, I always have us pick three for sure. That's the minimum. Sometimes we get some bonus cards. And cards have to do with not so distant past, the present, and the not so distant future. So each card represents, card number one is not so distant past, second card is the present, and the third card is not so distant future. And we just use those as starting off points and a way to kind of explain what's going on right now. And so I always start with the cards and then I listen for any further guidance. And so throughout the session, someone can ask me very, specific questions that they have that's going on with their life. I always get information to share. And what I'm most surprised about, and I think both myself and clients are surprised about, is the humor involved in how they explain things to us. I think again, it's to help us kind of lighten up our vibration so that we're not bogged down by everything that goes on in our lives. And I think the second thing that's always surprising is how they explain things that are happening not to us but for us, so that it explains a bigger picture that oftentimes neither I nor my client can see. And I think that is really the most mind-boggling part of it, is that we get to see things that normally we couldn't see on our own, not from our own individual perspective.
I love how you give visuals to people. You'll say that it would be something you see.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
just it just popped into my head, so I guess I'm supposed to say it. One of
Yeah.
my questions, you had seen me wrapped in like an Oriental rug, one of those fancy rugs.
Yes.
Um, and I was feeling like suffocated at that time. But that's how
Mhm.
that message that you gave me when I was all cocoon wrapped up in this rug. where my arms couldn't move. So it's
Yeah.
fun to hear those visuals because then you understand it better, how
Yes.
you're feeling.
Yeah, that is some of the fun of doing the work is I can see pictures, I can hear words, and I can feel sensations in my body. So oftentimes I can feel what it feels like for the other person, especially if they're going through something health related. The hearing definitely helps me to deliver the message correctly, and the visuals are fun because oftentimes they're symbolic, like you just shared. So that it's a strong visual to help you realize, "Oh, yeah, that is how I'm feeling. That is what it's like for me right now." Yeah.
And is it all done virtually or are you in person as well?
Most of the times now, I am doing it via Zoom. Someone can use telephone as well if they don't have a computer access or, smartphone access. I do some, in-person events lately. I have one coming up in May. It's the Infinity Foundation's gala, and I think if I remember right, it is May 17th. It's a Friday night, so you can still get tickets for it. So yeah, I do some select in-person events, and I'm always looking for private parties if people want to have someone come out to their house and read individuals. I've done some of those, even a bachelorette party recently.
Those are fun, I bet.
Yeah, some fun ideas.
Sounds super fun to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I love when we get together with our little coach group called Sweet 16,
Yeah,
and there seems like there's always magic happening there. So
yeah.
we're all
That
tapped in, we're listening to the angels and our guides, and it's super fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, Cheryl, I have a Mother's Day special going on for readings too, and so you can find out more information about that on my website. But that's fun to do because a lot of times women are looking for gifts for their own mothers or women in their life that they want to gift something to, and so the Mother's Day readings are always fun to do. I enjoy those.
And gift to yourself. I think I could give that
Yes,
to myself for Mother's Day.
absolutely. I do have the option for gift certificates or a to me from me because I love me gift, and that's
I
from yourself.
I love that. I love this as part of a tool just for transformation. It's just another
Mhm.
tool for our toolkit that we
Yeah,
can use for our personal growth.
yeah, and it really is, the angels want to work with us. I don't have a gift. I have a skill set that I've learned how to communicate with them, but we each can learn that skill, and so it's absolutely for each of us.
I beg to differ with you. You do have a gift, my friend. You have a gift that you're honing and you're sharing with the world. You're,
I enjoy working with the angels and working with others to share their messages.
which I think is one of your superpowers.
Mm, thank you.
You're welcome. I do want to share a story. Um, it's a story that Karen, I just have to know, I just have to let you know how impactful the
Mhm.
story is to me. Like one of the most impactful things that happened to me in my life because of you.
Well, I got the
And
chills from that.
you know what? And now that I'm saying it, I'm feeling a little bit emotional, and I hope I can get through it because I don't want to be blubbering. But so back in 2017, my father passed away. Karen, I know we were in contact,
Yes.
and but you had no idea. You had no idea that my dad was on the brink,
No.
and he passed away in 17, right before Christmas time. And I was staying at my parents' house where he came home for his last day, a
Mhm.
couple days, and it happened early in the morning, and then after, when I went home, it was the sun was just rising over the sunset. I was heading east, and I was pleading for him to give me a message. I needed to hear a message from him.
Yeah.
And I crawled into bed. I did not My children still had not known. They were still in bed. I just crawled into bed because I didn't want to wake them. And and I just cried myself to sleep. And I hear a bing on my phone. This was maybe an hour later. I don't even remember. It was very early in the morning. I think you sent it, maybe, I don't know. You sent it early in the morning.
I was gonna say it had to be around 5:30, I'm guessing,
Yeah, well, yes, because
in
it
my
was
schedule.
after the sunrise, because I was, I was in bed. And
Yeah.
I look at this text, and I have to read this text. So I'm pleading for my dad to show me a sign. And this is a text that I get from Kieran. Cheryl, no matter what your faith is or not, no matter where in the world you are, I want you to know that during this holiday season, I will be with you. In the eyes of every child and the melody of every song, I'll be the glimmer in the ice castles, the rays in the sun, and the stars at night. And with each smile you see, every hug you receive, and every laugh you hear, I'll be there, reaching out through another, with blessings and tidings to last you the year, not because it's Christmas, because I love you, always have, and always will. And these things are true every day of your life.
Mm.
XOXO, the universe.
Mm.
So it was one of my greatest gifts I ever received.
Yes.
And I
And
knew after you said, oh, and I just said, Karen, you don't know this, but my father passed away. And you said that you were just being nudged to send that message to me.
yeah.
And I knew it was a sign from my dad.
Yes. Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. And that's, I got the chills all the way up in my little cheeks. Um, that's what I think is, so amazing about, doing this world together with so many other human beings is that, we're often sent as messengers to one another, right? We're often, just at the right moment, reaching out to someone, whether we know them or we don't, to share something that is going to affect them for, that moment or for much, much longer. We just never know. And I'm, so honored that that message got delivered to you. It was via, my typing it in as an email, but really it was from your dad. It was for you from your dad, knowing that, what beautiful words. I mean, just
They couldn't have
incredible.
been more perfect. They could not have
Yeah.
been more perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're right. You never know what one little action, like you had no idea you had no idea it had anything to do
No
with my dad.
idea.
But that one
Yeah.
little action is forever in my heart. And without me even telling you, you would never have known that.
No,
So I think we
absolutely not.
do affect each other greatly without even knowing the impact that we have on people.
Yeah, there was, a saying, I received years ago on, like, a little card, and it said something to the effect of, "We can all be angels to one another." We can do that for each other, and we can. And I think that's, those little moments are when we are angels to one another.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Agreed. Well, I would love to have you come back again and just talk about stuff, because other stuff that people are probably interested
Yeah.
in that realm of spirituality and angels. And I think people are curious
Yes.
and want to know more.
Yeah, I just would invite anyone who's interested in angels to start to talk to them, start to ask for signs, ask for, let their presence be known, reveal themselves to you. Those are some ways you can ask for angels to show up in your lives.
And I've also been told that ask for like crazy signs that you wouldn't think would be possible, and they show up, right?
Yeah, in the most unique ways too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you think it's gonna come in, like, an elephant in a real elephant, and you'll one day start seeing pictures of elephants as you drop yourself into Marshalls, or
Yeah.
you'll see them on all kinds of ways. They'll show up for you. So yeah, that's the fun part of playing with the angels for sure.
And maybe we can talk about signs one day, because I know you and I both have the same numbers of signs. We both see 3333333.
Yes.
Yeah, those are big angel numbers for me.
Yes, yeah, so much fun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is there anything else you want to share before I let you go upon your day?
Yeah, I just think that, it doesn't take much effort at all to bring the angel's presence into your life. So just call upon them, ask them to show up, reveal themselves to you, and uh, really that you'll see ways that uh, things change and show up for you in ways that you couldn't even imagine.
And you can find Karen at soulysister.com. And
Yes.
I will put all the links in the show notes on how you can get a hold of Karen. And she's got that Mother's Day special going on, plus her regular offerings that are always there. If you're seeing this after Mother's Day, you can always.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, Cheryl.
My friend, I appreciate you so much, and I love you so much. And hopefully, we will connect again in person soon. We were together for the lunar eclipse, which was hilarious.
Yes, yes, the beautiful was it last week? It was the partial solar eclipse here we were where we live, right?
And
And
Kieran brought us some the glasses, and we went outside. And we took a look while we were on meeting and having coffee. So
yeah,
it was so fun.
yes.
Okay, my friend,
All
you have
right.
a fantastic day, and we will talk to you soon.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Bye.
Bye.